Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this Lenovo Yoga 730-13 IKB. So first what you want to do is remove all the screws on the bottom. They are T5 screws, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just remove all of those. Once you do that, you'll want to open the screen slightly, so that way you can kind of rest it like this. And then I like to take my thumbs and use my fingernails. If you don't have fingernails, you'll have to use like a thin pry tool. But yeah, just avoid pushing on the trackpad itself, okay? So what you do, I push with my thumb and then I pull with my nails down on the outer casing, just like this. And as you can see, the thing just pops out, all right? So if you're prying it, you have to get the pry tool in between this layer here, and then you can pop that out, okay? Once you get that, you can go like this, go all the way around. There's little clips that will kind of slowly release, and then you gotta wiggle it forward from here this way. These parts stick out, so when you put it back, you have to put that side in first. Make sure that it goes underneath this little hinge cover area, or the fan cover area. Okay, then you can just pop it out just like that. Alright, once you get the computer open, of course you want to disconnect the battery first. If you haven't, make sure the computer is already shut down. I should have mentioned that before unscrewing it, but yeah, remove the battery. To remove the battery connector, just grab as close as you can to the connector and then just wiggle it as you pull. You don't need to wiggle it too much, just wiggle it slightly. Once you do that, open the computer slowly. Since the cover has a screw going into the hinge, you want to be extra careful opening the screen. So open it slowly, and then just hold the power button for a few seconds to drain any power that can be in the computer. Okay, once you drain the power out, close the thing back down. To be safe, you can hold it for like 30 seconds, but usually like 10-20 seconds should be long enough. Okay, so once you do that, you'll want to remove the battery. So oh, I didn't put the screws back, but there's one here. There will be 4 screws in the battery, so one here, one here, one here, and one here. Okay, once you remove all those screws, then you can lift the battery out just like this. Okay, the battery, let me see if there's a model number here. The model is L16C4PB1. So hopefully you can see that. Right, that's the model number here, L16C4PB1. Alright, so if you need a new battery, that's what you would get. Alright, so once you got that out, you'll want to remove all these little connectors, depending what you're doing. If you're just upgrading the SSD, this is a M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. You don't need to take this out to remove the motherboard, so I'm going to leave that in. The RAM is underneath this cover, but it's not upgradable. It's soldered to the board. You can lift this cover off, but I'm not going to take that out because you don't really need to do that. Okay, so now to remove these, you just flip these little latches up. Okay, just do that for all these little connectors. Flip them up, and then you can pull these connectors out. Be gentle with them. If you can actually grab the little blue or brown plastic parts to kind of pull it out, like this. But if you can't, you can use your fingers and kind of just lightly put pressure on the side so that you can pull them out. Okay, just like that. So this one I can do, pull the blue tab, okay. Alright, so once you get all of those out, then you can see there's the speaker connector here. So you just use your fingernails or pry tools at the wings of the connector, and then you just wiggle it as you pull, and it'll pop out just like that. Okay, and then this is the trackpad cable, this is the keyboard backlight cable, this is the fingerprint sensor cable, and this is the keyboard connector. Okay, so once you remove all of that, then to get the motherboard out, next step is to remove the wireless card antennas. So you don't need to remove the wireless card, but if you want to change it, or if yours is broken, you take the one screw out, it'll come up at an angle slightly, and you just wiggle it out to pull it out. But to remove the antennas, you get as close as you can to the tail, not the front, and then you just pop it up at an angle, just like that. Alright, same thing with the other one. To put it back, you just line it up, make sure it's completely lined up over the top, and then you'll know that it's lined up because when you put it on top and you try and move it lightly, it will stop moving. It won't wiggle around. So here, Let me show you. So if I put it on top, there we go. See, now if I move it around, it stays in place. That's how you know you can just pop it back down. Okay, so take this back out. All right, so we'll take those antennas out. All right, to remove the LCD connector, so this is for your screen, you have this pull tab, but usually I feel it doesn't work, so I use my fingernail and then I pry underneath the corner while I'm pulling up on this, and it comes out just like that. Make sure you're only prying the connector, not the part on the board, or you can damage that. Okay, I don't think I need to remove these two screws. I think that's only if you're gonna take the whole heatsink out. So I'm gonna try removing the motherboard or the logic board without removing that and see how it goes. So to remove the logic board, there's one screw here, there's another one down here right below it, and then one all the way down here. Okay, hopefully you can see all of this in camera. Oh, oops, sorry. So there's one here, and then one down here. Okay, then you got another screw on this side. Okay, so remove that one. All right, and then there's one down here as well. And then you got this silver little metal bracket. You have to remove the 4 screws from there. So all these other screws were using a basically pH1, and now we'll have to switch to a pH0 or J1 or J0. So to remove these silver screws. Okay, so there's 4 screws holding this bracket in place. So remove those 4. Okay, just like that. All right, once you get those 4 screws out, you can actually take this metal plate out, okay? And then you can set it aside. All right, let me make sure I put it the right way. So this was going that way, okay. So make sure that you put it back, when you put it back, that you know which way it came out, so you can put it back the same way. All right, then to remove the motherboard or the logic board, you lift up the bottom side at an angle like this, and then when you get at an angle, the fan heat sinks can slide out just like this, okay? And that's how you remove the logic board from this. There's all this tape on the bottom, so you can't really do anything. And the power button, as you can see, is part of the logic board. Or actually, that's not the power button. This is the 1 key recovery button. The power button's on this side, and it's also part of the logic board. Okay, so if your button's broken, you're gonna have to know how to solder to replace that. Okay, there's not much else to it. The fans basically have the same connector like the other ones, and to remove the fans, you have to take the whole heatsink out, and then I don't know if you can replace these fans. Yeah, I don't think you can replace the fans without replacing the whole heatsink, or you have to like cut these things out. They do have the fan model numbers here. I don't know if you can see it. EG 500-40S1-CD30-S9A. I think both fans are the same. EG 500-40S1 CD. Oh yeah, so one is CD30 and the other one's CD20 because it's like a mirrored fan. But yeah, okay, after you do that, so for the speaker, to take it out, there's no screws, you just slide it up. It has these little rubber washer things that kind of hold it in place to reduce vibration. So I'm going to move that aside because I'm going to be replacing the keyboard on this. Hopefully I can show the whole process, we'll see. And then to remove the hinges, so what you want to do is loosen these screws a little bit first. Okay, just a tiny bit. There's 2 on each hinge. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know if I'm moving it out of the camera, but there's these 2 screws. Okay, once you do that, let me see if I should even remove that. Yeah, I don't know if I want to remove the whole, I'm not going to remove the whole screen. So what I'll do is I'll just lift up the hinges so that you can kind of see. So open the screen 90 degrees. All right, once you do that, while you're kind of holding it up, What you can do is you can also hang it off the edge of a desk, so that way the screen's not flopping around. But I'm going to loosen the screws so that way I can have the hinges going up higher. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm probably going to have to take the screws off screen. So let me take the screws out. Hopefully it will let me put the keyboard section down while the screws are out and I don't have to take out the whole thing, because if I have to take out the whole thing, it's kind of a lot of extra work rerouting the wires and everything. Okay, so I took the 4 screws out. So as you can see, I can actually rotate the keyboard down and then it's actually coming with it. So make sure that the hinges aren't too high because you don't want it to bend the wires too much while you're doing this. So what I would do is, to be safe, I will put the hinges all the way down, just like this. I might have to actually completely take the hinges and everything out, but let me see if I can do it without doing that. Okay, so I'll open the screen just slightly and then I can lay it down just like that. So here you can see that it will stay like this. Okay, all right, there we go. So now that those are out of my way, so now I'm gonna have to take out this little bracket here. So there's 2 screws. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. There's a lot of screws in this thing, so hopefully you can keep track of where you took everything out from. Okay, so we'll take out this metal bracket. Hopefully, is this removable? Oh, that might be actually part of the keyboard or something. Interesting. It's like glued to it. Shouldn't be. Okay, well, we're gonna... Oh yeah, it is. I'd have to peel this off. Okay. So I don't know why, but they have this bracket here that's stuck on with some double stick adhesive. So I guess I don't have to completely remove it, but I'll lift it up. So if you lift it this way, I don't know, but they stuck this bracket onto this label on the back of the keyboard. Okay, so now I'm going to use a toothpick, but you can use like a needle or anything just to get underneath this plastic layer, because we're going to have to peel this plastic off, it looks like. Alright, so let's peel this black plastic up. Oh, it looks like that's actually part of this. So we'll lift all this up. The keyboard label's coming up with it. Alright, and then be careful. Hopefully you can reuse this black plastic. I don't think it's necessary, but I'm going to try and save it. Okay, looks like this plastic goes over the whole entire keyboard. That's going to be annoying. So this connector, you have to kind of peel it off as well for the trackpad. Okay, just be careful. You don't want to crease it too much. Okay, just like that. Let's see, that means they taped all of this stuff on here. Man, that's going to be annoying. This keyboard's dead, so I'm not going to worry too much if I damage the keyboard cable, but you kind of want to be at least a little bit careful. Okay, so let's peel this off. There we go. Alright, so it looks like I'm going to have to peel all this plastic up. Why'd they design it like that? I'm just going to take all of it out. So we'll take out the speaker here, and then just go through all these guides to remove the wire. Okay, so you can leave these speakers set aside. I'm going to undo some more of the guides just so I can kind of have it more out of the way. Alright. Let's see, should I remove everything? Trackpad, touchpad. Yeah, I'm going to try and leave these things. Touchpad. Yeah, they taped that whole thing. Okay, so I'm going to leave that because I don't want to peel too much and then it might damage the cable. It's a little bit risky. So we'll get underneath this piece. Oh, we have to remove this bracket as well. So remove those 2 screws as well. Okay, I don't know why, but they like to tape on all these brackets and stuff. Okay, so these brackets aren't even part of, why'd they put these here? So these brackets aren't even part of the keyboard cover. I guess they're just there to let Lenovo know that you worked on the computer. So, okay, so there's that. Yeah, because these kinds of things, they're not really needed for the computer to work. So I have a feeling it's just Lenovo putting stuff so if you peel it, there's no way to do it cleanly that they'll know that you actually took this thing apart. Alright, so let's see if I can peel all of this out or if it's just going to be a big pain. So let's peel this up. Alright. Just peel this whole plastic lining. So this keyboard, the layer underneath is the keyboard backlight layer. It's that black plastic underneath. And that comes with the replacement keyboard, so you just gotta peel all this up. Oh man, then they put these, put all these little slits of plastic, so if you just pull on it, you'll end up tearing all of it. So I have to try and get underneath with a toothpick to try and save it. Okay, hopefully you can see. Oh, the keyboard backlight layer is coming up. I have a feeling this black plastic layer is going to be all stretched and it's not going to fit properly to put it back, so I don't know why they put that there. Maybe they don't want the motherboard to have any small chance of touching the screws on here, so. But yeah, this is a real big pain. So, yep, just keep slowly peeling this thing out. I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to put it back because it's going to be all stretched, but we'll find out. Okay, keep slowly peeling it just like this. And just keep alternating top, bottom, pulling on it slowly. Oh, as you can see, they also put a copper layer here. So this copper layer, you're probably going to have to roll it back before you put it back down, or it's not going to be flat. That's super annoying. Okay, this is working. Oh, what is the keyboard backlight layer is tearing. Okay, and that's where the backlight lights actually are. Okay. So just keep peeling. Oh man, this build sucks. I don't know whose idea this was. Okay, just keep peeling, just keep peeling. If you can, try and keep it sideways like this, so that way it doesn't curl the copper part too much, but I already kind of curled it all up, so I'm gonna have to roll it back the other way. Okay, so as you see, when you get to these sharp points, you're gonna have to use like a toothpick or a needle or something to kind of get underneath so you don't just tear that plastic. So hopefully you can actually see what I'm doing. Use the toothpick, get underneath, and then kind of help peel it up. All right, there you go. And then once you get that part started, then you can kind of pull it and it shouldn't tear. Okay. Jeez, what a pain. Okay. At least the keyboard itself just uses screws. So, yeah. And keep in mind, if you have the screen still here, you don't want to push on it down too hard. You don't want to break the screen. So I'm kind of just holding the keyboard part down while I pull on this and peel this up. Okay. Alright, we're getting there. Come on. Almost there. Here we go. Okay. Again, you want to be careful with the little sharp edges, where they made sharp cuts in it. Oh, the backlight layer is getting peeled off. Well, whatever. Okay, so this kind of stuff isn't really conductive either, so it's probably fine if you leave it like that. So now that you see it's all kind of like curled, you kind of want to put it down on a flat surface. Hopefully, let me see if I can show you this. So you want to have it on a flat surface and then kind of curl it the opposite way. Okay. All right. So hopefully when you put it back down, it'll kind of remain flat, but the whole piece comes out like this. Okay. And make sure wherever the fans are that nothing is going to be sticking up, or the fan is going to start hitting it and you're going to start hearing some like loud buzzing noises. Okay, so you can't make it completely perfectly flat because it's copper and it's really hard to bend it back flat, but just do the best you can, especially at these sharp edges here. Okay, just use like my fingernail to kind of like bend it back down. Alright, just like that. Alright, so now we're gonna get the new keyboard out. We'll get this keyboard out and then get the new keyboard in. Alright, so the keyboard has a whole bunch of these little screws in them. So I believe you have to use the J0 or possibly even a J00. It looks like the corners don't have screws, so you don't need to worry about the corners except for the back corner on this one. Okay, and then this one's missing one screw here. So I don't know, they skipped some screws on these. Maybe I should mark it so it's easier to know where there's no screws. Okay, so no screw on this one, no screw up there. Okay, let's see here. It's hard to see. No screw on this one. 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 And no screw on that. Okay, no screw on this one. And no screw down here. And I think that's it. I wonder why they didn't put screws in all of them. Oh, this one doesn't have a screw either. It has a metal post, and this one also has a metal post. This one has just nothing. And this also has a metal post. Okay, so hopefully you can actually see those arrows, but yeah, those spots don't have screws in them. So when you go to put them back, just know that. So I'm gonna kind of line these all up on the table to kind of keep them in order. But yeah, most likely these screws are all the same, so it's not a big deal, but I kind of like to put the same screws back in the same spot just to be safe. All right. And then I'll look at the arrows just to know where the screws don't go when I put the new keyboard in. Alright. But that's pretty much all there is to this repair. Yeah. Once you remove all these screws, you basically just take the keyboard out and plop the new one in. Make sure that you look at how these cables are folded, because you have to fold them back the same way. But other than that, that's all there is to it. Hopefully this video helped you. If it did, please like and subscribe, because that'll help me. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. If you do need to change the screen and take this whole screen out, you do have to unroute all these cables back here. There's the black antenna that goes all the way behind. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you are going to try and change the screen or something, that you do have to do that. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.